and third spot. They're currently sitting, not quite yet, because Buriram Esports, they're going to be fighting for the top spot, and EVOS Onyx is going to be fighting for the 5th or 4th spot. So right now, currently sitting on 6 spots. So definitely, if they win a single game, they're going to be sitting on 5th. They're going to be going up against Talon in the playoffs in the round 1.
Yeah, pick and ban face. We're gonna have Mimikyu, Umbreon, Psyduck, and Blister ready. So BRU has that option to go for a Miraidon, but EVOS Onyx can answer back. You have the Umbreon as a selection. You have Blastoise. These are strong picks so far, but Buzzwole and Clefable prioritized instead.
Yeah, not quite surprising that we haven't been seeing Urshifu a lot, at least for today, because we have been seeing a lot of Buzzwoles lately with the Superpower and Smackdown composition. So really surprising, but I kind of understand because of the kit that could actually be provided as well from the Buzzwole is really handy, just like any other Pokemons, and it's actually a better one because it does provide a little bit of control over your opponent compared to a Urshifu that does take a lot of time, but rewarding in terms of damage output.
Yeah, and then for the side of EVOS Onyx, they answer back with Snorlax and a Mewtwo-Y. So in terms of that category, every single is pretty much set already. They still need a speedster. They still need that farm laner into the middle. So we'll see what EVOS Onyx is going to get picked up. But Buriram United Esports, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. In terms of the team fighting prowess, they have it. They have the Miraidon, they have the Trevenant, and they have the Urshifu that could set things up for themselves and have significant amount of damage as well.
Yeah, loving the lineup. Very well rounded. They have a blowout damage with the Urshifu. They have a powerful backline, which is going to be the Miraidon, and a secondary option that is going to be the Serena. And with the Queen's Ascendant, definitely could lock in that Mewtwo-Y who's going to be sitting all the way into the back. And because of that, there are tons of frontliners as well for BRU, and they do have a lot of potential for that Serena to move even further into the map, lock in someone with the Queen's Ascendant.
And the final lock-in by EVOS Onyx would be the Dodrio. We mentioned this a while ago. They still need that speedster. They still need that farm laner. And they lock it in. And so far, Dodrio being played out a while ago by Talon Esports specifically has seen a lot of that opportunities to really rise to the occasion and deal a huge amount of damage. So right now, for the likes of EVOS Onyx, alongside with the Buzzwole, alongside with the Mewtwo-Y, can deal the same amount of opportunity for EVOS Onyx this time around up against BRU.
Yeah, really excited for this matchup. Let's see if BRU could actually prove that they're going to be the titans of this tournament, because they're currently sitting on top once again, and definitely if they win this one, they would be guaranteed to be on the first spot, and they're just going to be waiting who's they're going to be their opponent later on into the playoff stage. It could be Marin Sejong, it could be Full Sense, it could be Blacklist International, but let's all find it out as we're going to witness game number 1 again. Buriram United Esports up against EVOS Onyx, who's actually sitting at 6th place as of now.
Yeah, for sure. So Buriram United Esports, EVOS Onyx, if they win this, like surprisingly, like out of the gate, because statistically speaking, right, how BRU performed over the past weeks, over the past days of the group stages in Pokemon United Asia Champions League, Buriram United Esports has that capability on beating down EVOS Onyx, statistically speaking. But if EVOS Onyx surprisingly just made a flip, just went in for a miracle play in this series and just wins the whole series, EVOS Onyx is gonna go into the top 5th position, and Alter Ego is going to go down, which means Talon Esports' matchup is not going to be up against Alter Ego in the playoffs. It's going to be up against EVOS Onyx.
Yeah, for sure. And might to tell you, Talon Esports really did got 2-1 up against EVOS Onyx. So I feel like Talon is going to be more confident still, because regardless of who they're going to be matched up in round number 1, they are still confident that they could actually get the victory, because they won up against them at the group stage, and actually that's one of the things that boosts a lot of your confidence. Knowing that you could beat them once does mean that you could actually beat them once again. But of course, the mindset of these guys, I'm not going to lose to the same opponent twice, because this is the moment that everyone has been waiting for. The game is BRU up against EVOS to determine their standing in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Now we'll see how EVOS Onyx will play this out. And so far, down to the early game, I don't think there's any one of these teams that really has that bigger edge. Because if we're going to look at the draft overall, for both sides, it's pretty much even, right? The middle of the game until the late game, this is where everything will start to rumble in for both sides. For Buriram United Esports side, for EVOS Onyx's composition as well. So that's something that you have to look at. These early games, it's going to be a bit of that back and forth, but not really that all-in type of engagements.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We've been talking about the lineup. It's very well balanced. They do have a static evolutionary state. They do have someone that needs a lot of time in order for them to evolve. So definitely well-distributed composition overall. And that's going to be both of the cases here for both teams. Right now, Swallows and Ontario is going to be up here. And EVOS Onyx trying to go for their aggression. And yes, they were very successful indeed, securing the Swallows and Ontario, getting the scores, and getting the knockouts for their team. Wow, phenomenal.
That isolation coming from Buzzroll, phenomenal coming from ALR. But nevertheless, EVOS Onyx, surprisingly enough, they're gonna go aggressive this early on into the matchup. I mean, they have Kane, they have Buzzroll, that's still very, very tanky and very capable of receiving a lot of damage, nevertheless. So in the upside of the map, EVOS Onyx will be able to take a huge hit up against BRU, but BRU answers back for a value of their own.
Yeah, Charge Beam doing the works here, doing the works up against BRQ, and right now, they're trying to counter it out with a strategy that they are formulating in which to be confident as much as they can, but right now, they're a little bit in a tight spot. That hyperspace hole not going to be making it on time as that Hoopa was taken down into the casualty, but same thing with the Buriram all the way into the central area, and Pupaza is left alone here. Heavy Slam not going to be landing quite enough, and this is a second opportunity for him not to get knocked out.
And now EVOS Onyx playing defense for now. They have to. Buriram United, the Esports, still trying to find values. EVOS Onyx are trying to find those experience and still trying to get those AS energy points up. But Miraidon, for BRU's side, is going for that poke damage instead of that all-in, going for that electro drift. So that's something to take note of for BRU in terms of those team fights later on.
Right now, wow, that was actually a quick rotation, or rather, a quick decision coming in from BRU. I really thought that they were trying to go for the aggression, going into 2v1, but right now they will hyper-prioritize the objective all the way into the bottom path with the hyperspace will assist again.
And now Reggie Steele would be the point of contention. EVOS Onyx tries to go in. You have the block in already, isolated onto Trevenant. And now EVOS Onyx still playing their hand up against BRU's side. Have HP already for Reggie Steele.
Oh, and they're going to be landing in the last hit. Charge Beam all the way to the backline. Not going to be quite enough. It's going to be the Urshifu landing the hit. Great assist coming in from BRU. And right now, everyone is charging even further. But great assist coming in from the Hoopa with Hyperspace Hole. Making sure that everyone comes back at peace. Triple trample to get away right now. But managed to came back immediately and knocked out two members of Buriram United Esports. And EVOS Onyx eyeing on the prize. That goes all the way to the bottom path. While the other members are trying to zone out the Miraidon and the Hoopa, who was actually pinched down by the Mewtwo Y all the way into the objectives pit.
Yeah, and now EVOS Onyx pivoting themselves, going onto the tier 1 zone. Yeah, Buzzwell defending that top side of the map, but it doesn't matter as BRU wants to go for the Regieleki instead. This will give them a lot of pressure. This will give them a lot of points capability or points opportunity. But the thing is, EVOS Onyx, if they pivot themselves down on top side of the map, Regieleki might not even able to go into the tier 1 goal zone. But now it goes down. You have the Dodrio onto the backside already as Buzzwell tries to defend, tries to deny. EVOS Onyx is there already with a body slam into the backside with the Dodrio putting out a lot of damage with a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 indeed there right now. Regieleki marching even further all the way to the goal zone, but that block would protect it from anything. Citrus Berry still up here, not going to be claimed immediately by the Urshifu, trying to go for the last hit, not going to be quite enough yet. And look at that, Dodrio saving that battle once again. ALR defending things down in the Regieleki.
Yeah, unfortunate, it's Arena. Or well, rather, Mewtwo Y was not able to defend on tier 1 goals on the dunk of SGC, but nevertheless, it does not matter. EVOS Onyx right now is playing on those defense, and they still have 82-point advantage up against BRU.
Yeah, that's actually huge in terms of numbers, especially if you are in the early stages of the game. But of course, you want to build that one up and going because it's actually halfway already the matchup. And right now, they're going to be investing a lot of Unite moves here into the Registeel, as this is going to give a lot of SP and a physical attack to be specific. Hyperspaceful was there, but that is the rotation happening anytime soon. The block was commenced immediately, but look at that. Possible leading the charge here. Rings and Bound's going to be there. Phantom 4 is going to lift up a lot of members from EVOS Onyx, but not going to be quite enough to do the main setup that everyone has been looking forward to. They're going to be eyeing prize into Regieleki, but look at that charge beam all the way into the back line, making sure that they take down 3 members from EVOS Onyx, and this is just very unfortunate for EVOS as BRU secures the objective.
It's just the power of the Hoopa. Going into the Rings and Bound immediately stands out to his teammates. And now EVOS Onyx wants to really answer back, but so far will not be able to do so, and Buriram United Esports will come out unscathed, getting a tier 1 goal zone and an objective in the process.
And right now, they're going to be eyeing on the Regieleki instead. Spotted out on the map, it's going to be Pupaza, and right now, Snorlax with the heavy slam. Not going to be quite enough yet to do the setup that they want to, because they don't have their main attackers to dish out the damage. So that's why it's going to be an opportunity for Very Sad and the others to score a goal all the way to the bottom path. But right now, I think they're a little bit too late, but there's no damage dealers yet for EVOS Onyx to secure the Regieleki.
Now EVOS Onyx is waiting for the right opportunity to go them onto Trevenant, but you have the Regieleki open already, as you have Kane chasing down the Miraidon, half HP already, but it's a 2v1, very unfortunate for the Miraidon as he falls down. Hyperspace Hole going to be forced away, as Regieleki as well on the flip side of the map is going to get through for the side of BRU.
Yeah, right now they're leading the charge, but oh, look who's gonna get caught immediately. That's gonna be BRU. Moonlight is gonna be there to give enough sustain coming in from their team. Very beautiful execution from EVOS. They're still coming into the chase while that Clefable is defending the Regieleki with all its might. Great division of task here coming in from EVOS Onyx, making sure that they get a rewarding XP and at the same time defend it from the Regieleki marching down into the tier 1 goal zone.
20 seconds left before the Rayquaza comes up here. You're seeing already Buriram United Esports putting out a positional advantage onto the Rayquaza pit. A bit of an overextension there. If he's seen there's no teammate, keep him up alive. Without the leash horn, he's going to be in danger and isolated. But so far, EVOS Onyx still trying to find their bushes, still trying to find a good position in this fight, in this engage. Minute and 50 seconds left. It's still BRU who's at a deficit in a points comparison.
Yeah, and right now this is going to be a very tough time right now. You have to get the spot that you need to claim in order for you to get the advantage. Hyperspace Hole and Rings and Bound very quite available, so they have to be very careful, because if that Hoopa gets taken down immediately by EVOS Onyx, definitely not the case that BRU would want to happen.
Rayquaza now being started by Ayaka. Half HP already just because the Rayquaza hits. Hyperspace Hole has to be forced away for those resets to occur for Miraidon. EVOS Onyx still holding their position. They need not to be able to fight the Rayquaza. They just have to defend it. Now block, isolated Sarina, but looking at the backside, you also have Trevenant.
Oh, and Rings and Bound was already pop up immediately, but look at that, if the Cyburn was deployed immediately by EVOS, and everyone is just falling down one by Buriram United Esports. What a beautiful setup, despite Pupaza leading the front line. That's not gonna be enough because of the overwhelming damage and setup that EVOS Onyx is trying to do together with the assist of the Moonlight coming in from the Clefable. And right now, eyes on the prize. Hornleash was very beautiful. Look at that Miraidon all the way into the back line. But still not enough. EVOS Onyx takes the Rayquaza, and they're gonna be scoring a lot of points out of this.
Unfortunate for the side of BRU, but EVOS Onyx, they had the point advantage already, so they just played it defensively. They played a goalkeeper in the Rayquaza pit, which was phenomenal. It was so good and incredible to watch how EVOS Onyx just played it out. Just played for position and played towards defending the Rayquaza up against BRU. And when BRU forced it, they answered and they pounced into the backside. No more damage dealer left, and EVOS Onyx won that team fight.
The maximum value of a Snorlax blocking your pathway is going to be very heavy. Just imagine if a Snorlax uses the block that horn leash is gonna be ineffective. It would not affect you. It would not hinder you from doing what you want, which is to block the pathway of your opponents. And that has been always the main key for a team to win. Use the block immediately by the Snorlax, and the triple trample is ready for the response anytime soon you want it to be.
For sure. And now, in terms of EVOS Onyx, yeah, most of the damage coming through from Kane and V2Y. This is already to be expected considering their composition. But Dorio, wow, the type of rotations he was doing, I think, is one of a master characteristic. So they're going always with the evolutions. They're going for the Hoopa as well, just because it gives them a lot of alleviation of pressure from the side lanes. So that's something to take note of. Like what BRU wants to do and what their playstyle is, they have to play towards it.
Yeah, right now, it's actually a focus of supporters still when it comes to banning here for EVOS Onyx. None of the sides were swapped. That was actually the decision of BRU as far as I know, because I think, as far as I know, the losers get to choose on which side they're going to be in. So right now, it's going to be Ayacup using once again Miraidon. So potentially this could be the same composition, just like what we've said a while ago, because nothing's wrong. It's about timing and execution, to be specific.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm curious, right? Why the orange side selection? But I guess it's a matter of like EVOS Onyx like thinking about like, you know what, it works. And the thing is, the only chance that we're gonna get to run it back onto the same composition is just going in for the orange side once again. So maybe that's the thought process here, but we've talked about it. There's not really anything wrong with any of these two compositions that both these teams played out in the prior matchup. So now I believe like what BRU has to do is those rotations, they have to mirror it on how Kane rotates around the map and how favorable those team fights are going to be for EVOS Onyx if the numbers advantage is more towards them.
Oh, I somehow called it, but instead, Garchomp was replaced from a Serena, so they're not going to be focusing on getting someone at the hands of EVOS Onyx, because there's no need, because if you're going to be taking a look at their composition right now, it's just Dragods that can actually get from the Queen's Ascendant, because Dragods provides a lot of healing factor and hindrance from their team, because he was using gravity a while ago, and that is an additional hindrance coming in from your team. So definitely, that's the only case possible that you could use the Queen's Ascendant into its maximum potential, because, like, Adulterio is really squishy, and Ayacup is gonna be enough, or Rainy D with the Urshifu is gonna be enough to deal the damage.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how BRU is going to play this out, but if everything pans out the same way that it did in the prior game, EVOS Onyx, maybe an upset. Caster's Curse is real.
Could be, we never know. But right now, we're gonna be heading in, of course, to our game number 2. Potentially, this might be the first game that we will be having game number 3 because of the momentum that EVOS Onyx is trying to show off. But never know. I called it once again. We called it once again. I don't know what will be the result right now. It's, a phenomenon that was existing for a very long time, that if casters call something, definitely quite the opposite is what's gonna happen. But right now, a lot of people are betting on BRU to win this one. And how do I know that? Well, community voice, we're saying it, but majority of them, they're actually looking forward for Paper Rex and, Filipino teams to be specific. But right now, game number 2 on its way. BRU versus EVOS Onyx. EVOS Onyx looking to close out this game once and for all.
Yeah. So we'll see how this will turn out for both sides here. Because right now, EVOS Onyx is already in match point, 1 win away into securing the series down. And if they do win, they're going up into the 5th position, and that will in turn proceed into Talon seeding up against EVOS Onyx into the playoffs. So that's very interesting. But right now, Buriram United Esports will get the first KO in game number 2.
Yeah, first KO indeed. Very quick of events right now. But Akapi, wow, look at that damage, making everyone back away at the side of EVOS Onyx in the early stages of the game. Quite phenomenal pressure being applied here by BRU. But there is actually still a trade coming in from EVOS Onyx.
Yeah. As you have Kane now going up on top here. Altaris and Swablu's going to be a priority, but Buzzwell already low. Kane already low as well. They have to retreat here. And now Urshifu chasing him down. Goes down KO. And EVOS Onyx has to retreat.
Yeah, retreat back. Moonlight is going to be there for an additional support, at least, coming in from their team. Boswell, Kane, not going to be doing a lot of damage still coming in, so definitely very unfortunate coming on their hands. But EVOS Onyx still has an opportunity to bring back the tables on their favor. But again, the ambush not successful by Kane.
Yeah, it's not successful now. EVOS Onyx trying to go for those dunks here, but Buzzwell not really having the best time of his life. As yeah, Urshifu just did 9 out of him, and now the charge beam as well, bringing him down. ALR in danger. Charge beam being set up once again. That will be it, as EVOS Onyx just goes into the tier 1 goal zone.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure still, but look at that. 2 members from EVOS Onyx trying to go down, you know, potentially knock out the Gabite. Yes, they're going to be successful with it, but there is going to be a response still coming in. Actually, the Gabite is still up. I actually mislooked. I thought it was actually down already because of how little tiny bit of an HP he has, but still up, and 30 seconds on the clock. First objective is gonna get up.
Yeah. The Reggie top and the Reggie bottom is going up in a few. EVOS Onyx though, in terms of positioning, pretty much split apart. 3-2 split. You have 3 players of EVOS Onyx down on top side, and you also have 2 members down into the bottom lane. So now I feel like both teams wants the Reggie, like he wants that early game advantage here at this point. But Pivot's coming through for EVOS Onyx. It might just be the Reggie Alecki here. You have the elevator coming down, so Reggie Steele will be contested. Will be an all-in for BRU. EVOS Onyx tries to deny it, will not be able to do so.
Yeah, and potentially they have an additional attack here. This is going to be a great fight coming in from Buriram United Esports. ALR is going to be backing away for his HP. Look at how little it is. Has to retreat back immediately, and right now, shift of attention has been made. They're going to be going in for the Regilecki. Objectives in one blow for BRU. And very sad, has to back away.
Yeah. Now you have the charge beam as well. Ooh, that was so... Onto Snorlax. Reggie Alecki now pushing on top side of the map. No defensive capability with a Clefable. The only one left standing on top lane to go in for the defense. And now EVOS Onyx. 108 points already, gaining those points into the tier 1 goal zone, into the bottom lane, but BRU answers back. Those KOs coming through, Miraidon goes down.
And that is going to be an additional pressure still, but EVOS Onyx still leading the charge here in terms of numbers, despite those goals being taken down immediately by BRU. EVOS Onyx still prioritization, it's going to be on the trades that they can actually do, and that's a knockout once again coming in from their team, but they have to be very cautious about the Garchomp who's marching in all the way to the top path. And ooh, Swablu's and Altaria is not going to be very favorable for them. Kane will do it even further with a Horn Leech, or rather Pupaza. It's going to be Pupaza still, but Dragon's very unfortunate in HP.
Yeah, EVOS Onyx though being chased out. You have the Garchomp into the backside, Buzzwell as well to follow through. It's a 3v2 situation, however. Garchomp at this stage is just too fed. Level 11 already in terms of those XPs and Aeon's energy points, but Trevenant goes down. EVOS Onyx was able to find their own value from that fight. But Garchomp now isolated. It's a 4v1, 3v1 situation. Buzzwell just utilized his utility for those hindrances to occur, and Hoopa comes down on top as well to go in for that support. So far, these back and forths are so much. Both these teams for BRU and EVO.
But yeah, but right now it's going to be the Urshifu going to be securing the objective all the way to the bottom path. No one is trying to eye on it. Triple trample not available for the rotation to come up even further. But that Snorlax was already there, making sure to contest it. But very unfortunate, they're not going to be getting it so far. Dragon's not using the gravity right now instead, but uses the follow me for some protection mechanism for their team. But right now, still, EVOS Onyx having a tough time to bounce back, though. They're just going to read the situation here, try to play it for objectives, and eventually maintain the lead.
So we'll see as EVOS Onyx at the moment pivoting themselves more towards the top side of the map. Reggie will be available for themselves. Kane is just hovering around. Altarius and Swablues going to get contested there by Trevenant. Phantom Force already used up. It's just 2v1. I don't know if he's gonna make it out alive. Miraidon comes through though for that extra support, but too fast, too quick as Trevenant goes away unscathed.
Not making it on time on the hyperspace hole to go back into the base. Very unfortunate. But right now, the Reg Lecky is already up all the way to the top path. Not gonna be quite sure what's the plan of EVOS Onyx because they are just too focused on the bottom path, not knowing that a lot of members from BRU trying to focus their attention into the Reg Lecky.
The Regieleki being started already by SCG, SGC. Regieleki goes down, Buzzwole a bit too late. EVOS Onyx missed that opportunity for that objective on top side of the map, but here in the bottom lane, it's going to be Shigu. That will be the target. Double KO already for EVOS Onyx as they're going to chase down their opponents in the tier 1 goals on top lane. But Garchomp is just too strong.
Wow, look at that. Smooth as silk, and everyone else keeps on moving forward. And that charge beam is going to deal a lot of damage, but that phenomenal blow is going to give a second chance for Dragon, but 50 points, it's going to land all the way into the top path. Members from EVOS Onyx trying to go in for the chase, potentially knock out a lot of members from BRU, but that is not going to be the case here. They're going to be forcing in the fight to 2:30. That's a very important time in Pokemon Unite. You have to eliminate as much as possible your opponents to get the footing and to get the spacing that you need in the mid.
And now in comparison, EVOS Onyx now on the back foot in comparison to game number 1. It was Buriram Esports that had that disadvantage as Rifu takes down the Regis. EVOS Onyx positioning themselves to go into the flank, into the backside here. A surprise attack into the back lanes. Urshifu now in danger. It's a 4v1, a 5v1, no escape. Urshifu gets KO.
And that was actually phenomenal for EVOS Onyx. They could actually take down this Rayquaza, but they just need to zone out every single members. And what a phenomenal block coming here. Pupasa is actually pinched all the way inside, but this is actually a double-edged sword. They might get caught immediately by the wood hammer, but the rings and bound will be there, sending everyone in at the hands of BRU. But right now they have to fall back immediately. Look at that. Half HP. Who's gonna get the last hit? That's gonna be at the end of BRU as that Garchomp will come in, and everyone else from EVOS Onyx will back away immediately. They just have to protect this goal zone, but there is not gonna be enough opportunity for them to protect it.
A day of 3 games, baby. This is what we mentioned just a while ago. Might not be a reverse sweep. We still don't know yet. EVOS still take it down. But Buriram United Esports, what a play coming down at the game number 2. Just one team fight alone just changed things up. And Garchomp specifically was the golden key here for Buriram United Esports. It is the one that really led the charge for BRU's success. And so far, that 300-point advantage by BRU is not going to get caught up by EVOS Onyx anytime soon.
Yeah, and here's the thing, that's actually the advantage of a Garchomp. Making sure that you're quick and you have an attack speed could definitely provide a lot of damage, given that there is enough support coming in from your teammates. And just shredded out every single HP that the Conveyable was trying to regenerate all the way from EVOS Onyx, making sure that they seal a lot of team fights and the most important ones, which is the Rayquaza fight.
Now EVOS Onyx. But I have to think about coming down into the next game. This composition, I don't know, it doesn't work anymore. Just because of how Buriram United Esports has played it out. Or they remove the Garchomp. I think that's one of the pivots. That's one of the things that can occur. If ever like EVOS Onyx, you know what? We lost game number 2, but we're still sticking with the orange side selection. That's something they could do. They ban away the Garchomp or ban away, deny away some of these Pokemon that Buriram United Esports has picked up. Because if you're looking at the points, 220 points for Garchomp, you have 6 KOs and 9 assists overall, and I'm very curious about the battle data as well, how much damage he took and how much damage he provided for the team.
Wow,
it's 27.5%. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, very huge, but might tell you as well, huge numbers coming in from EVOS Onyx. coming in from just the Mewtwo White and the Dodrio. Well, that is actually expected, knowing that they are the main damage dealers coming in from their team. But if BRU was doing a while ago, they were just securing Rhydon into their first pick, and right now, EVOS is going to be batting that one out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I can argue about the comp phase or war type of situation, because the thing is, like, you can go in for the purple side selection, which has a better advantage of picking that up, with the last rotation being 2 picks. Because the thing is, you can't prioritize the Zoroark and the Comfey in the first rotation. You're gonna get demolished with a possibility of these hyper priority picks going to the side of the purple side selection. So the thing is that these things are going to be in terms of these things are into consideration for these teams. But nevertheless, moving on, EVOS Esports is now going into the purple side selection, which was something that we talked about a while ago. So the composition that we saw in Game 1 and Game 2 is no longer going to be applicable and no longer something that we get to see, especially considering that Miraidon and Mewtwo Y is going to be banned away, alongside Umbreon and Mimikyu.
But yeah, Blizzy is going to be back, who was actually banned a while ago. Same thing with Psyduck. So that is actually what we expect, and BRU is really a big fan of this Blissey, who's actually doing the egg bombs and the soft boil later on. You know, hindrance and at the same time healing's definitely productive coming in from their team, together with Rainy D, who's going to be using Urshifu once again. This is the last dance, at least for the group stage. Will definitely make the most out of it.
Yeah. Now, Psyduck, Garchomp, I think this is a good deny, considering how Alter Ego has played the Garchomp with SCG, SGC. It's phenomenal. Insane to think about. Now, Talon Esports has a supporter, has an all-rounder that can pretty much frontline and deal damage, and you also have Espeon. So now it's a matter of picking up a good defender, which I think right now could be the likes of Blastoise, could be the likes of... the Slowbro could be an option, but Mamoswine could also be an option here. So really, these things could be locked in by Talon Esports. However, the Eldegoss is not something that I'm expecting.
Yeah, because there's a lot of supporters who could actually do the job, and might to tell you, they're gonna be they're gonna be sticking with double supporters, so it's gonna be very tough because they don't have their main frontliner, and we actually saw this a while ago, which was Alter Ego who did the job by not having a defender, but instead they did a matchup support. You know, it has the same concept, but different idea, to be specific, because 2 supporters might actually work, but is this going to be enough for them to sustain 2 attackers, which is very squishy, knowing that BRU has a lot of damage capabilities? Just imagine, they have the snipe shot from Ayacup, they have the dark type Urshifu coming in from Rady, and they also have the Zacian that could charge in even further into the battle realm.
Yeah, and the thing is, I believe this is the untraditional, quote-unquote, of the unorthodoxes. Because the thing is, like, what we have seen so far is the pattern Ultra Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League is a double defender, a double attacker, a double all-rounder, but not a double supporter. And that's considering all supporters in mind. But maybe EVOS Esports can make it work. Not really that sure how they're going to do so, because the thing is, like, in terms of mobility, they're not really having any mobility in mind in comparison to what their compositions was in Game 1 and Game 2 with the Dodrio. Now, the only Pokemon that has mobility would be the Garchomp. Espeon doesn't really have that much mobility. The other attacker doesn't really have that much mobility as well, if you're going to consider it. Greninja has a couple of bit with those clones.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how EVOS Onyx is going to play this game to you out.
Yeah, it's actually, you know, very confusing knowing that they don't have a main frontliner. We kept saying this, that the defender is very important. You cannot afford to do to the all-rounder. You cannot dedicate yourself into the all-rounder to do the tanking. And Garchomp has no way out already at this point, because if you use the Dragon Rush or the Dig, you don't have your way out. You just have to depend on your teammates. You just have to depend on the follow-up Psychic Solaire coming in from the Espeon, and everything, that's gonna be it. Despite having the Surf from the Psyduck, still, you're gonna be the main frontliner. You can't afford that Psyduck to be taken down immediately. Same thing with the Eldegoss immediately as well.
Yeah. So, one of the expectations are is that EVOS Onyx is going to split up their supporters, one on the bottom side, one on the top side. But aside from that, in terms of rotation as well, it's going to be a bit hard for Kane. Because the thing is, like, these two comps, or well, rather, the whole composition for EVOS Onyx is not really that tanky. Like, the only Pokemon that can give off a little bit of that essence in terms of defensive capability would be the Garchomp. But it takes too much time to be able to scale to that.
What a damage coming in from EVOS Onyx, making sure that they're going to be controlling this game. Oh, eject button, but nice deny coming in from Zation. Phenomenal decision making coming in from BRU, making sure that no one's going to get the knockouts and no one's going to get the goals so far the first 1.5 minutes of this game.
For sure. So far, no casualties as of yet for both sides. No one's going for a very aggressive type of situation. No one's going for a little bit of that all-in type of setup. But I believe like BRU just has more of that capability on going for the all-in. Right? They have the Zacian, they have their Trevenant, Inteleon is there as well for that safety into the backside, and you also have Urshifu. So I think it's better off for BRU to be able to go aggressive in this game.
The Surf going to be connecting somehow here, but it seems like BRU is hesitating a little bit here, knowing that there's going to be enough backup. Stored Power is going to be sure hitting a lot of members here from BRU, but look at that. They need that to bite even further. Water Shuriken is going to be hitting Tuber still from BRU, and I love the pressure that EVOS Onyx is trying to deal out up against BRU right now.
BRU so far getting a bit more points just because of that dunk on top side of the map, but overall, like this first few minutes of this game has been very close for both sides. Not really a drastic difference from what we have seen into the prior games. There are gods in danger though, Urshifu, huge amounts of damage, a KO going to BRU.
Yes, and that's going to be a lot of pressure still at the side of EVOS Onyx. BRU applying the pressure with all their might, and they're going to be securing for sure this bot side objective once and for all. But I love the cross-map trade here coming in from their Greninja for the side of EVOS Onyx. They're actually going to be taking down the Regieleki as well, but that HP restored, it's not quite convincing if we're going to be taking a look at the bigger picture, if they're not going to be engaging into this team fight.
Yeah. Another Regieleki being secured by the side of EVOS Onyx, now being pushed out onto the tier 2 goal zone on top lane. Actually, are they even going to defend it? Yes, they are with the Zacian. I was a bit curious if they're not going to do so. That's going to be surprising. But Garchomp now going up on top as well alongside with Kane. Going to go through, wanting that Regieleki because you have a couple of points to be able to dunk onto the tier 2 goal zone. BRU going for it, trying to defend, but not going to be enough. They don't have that much capability to deny it away from EVOS Onyx.
Yeah, and that Livid Outrage is not going to be converting all the way into a knockout, but rather the Zacian is the ones going to be connecting the KO as well. And Garchomp, on the other hand, ALR trying its best to survive the Dragon Claw, but knockout still connects at the hands of BRU, and right now they're going to be forcing their way. Psychic Solaire to lift up 4 members from Buriram Esports, but still, they're not going to be looking for the part. They're going to be looking in for the goal zone, as there's Spy Vision to reveal the tall grasses, but still, Water Shurikens is going to be enough to take down 2 members of BRU, who's backing away right now.
Buriram United Esports going to play defense for now, as EVOS Onyx surprisingly is able to make their composition work despite, you know what, no tank whatsoever, no front lines that could really sustain their composition, but so far they're able to make it work with a double supporter. They are still having a hard time, and I think the thing is, like, they really just need a good set coming in from Trevenant, coming in from the likes of Zacian as well. These two are going to be key important players and key important Pokemon for Buriram United Esports to find success in those team fights, and they have to eyes on Greninja and Espion.
Yeah, of course, especially that Greninja has been dealing a lot of damage, but right now Resort is all the way into the backline, making sure that he is safe to commence the attack later on. Full power Sai is going to be there, but not going to be quite enough to secure the objective, and it is going to be Buriram United Esports charging even further. Livid Outrage dealing a lot of damage, but not going to be quite enough to take down all of them, because he's just going to take one, and that is Buriram United Esports taking down 4 members from EVOS Onyx.
And there we go, those 5v5s is what Buriram United Esports is looking for. Pretty much like having these 5v5 fights, no time for you that will be the demise of EVOS from this game. And Buriram United Esports, who just won one objective fight, they're now up in 15 points.
Oh, see, that's the damage of a dark type Urshifu that you don't want to see over and over again if you're going to be the ones who's going to be knocked out immediately. And there's not enough response here from EVOS Onyx. They're not going to be contesting the Regieleki, so they're just going to wait it out to march all the way into their goal zone and actually take it down later on. So objective, quite easy here for Buriram United Esports, but on the other hand, EVOS Onyx still trying to contest the resources all the way into the mid side.
Yeah, and now Buriram United Esports gets a Regieleki on top side of the map. EVOS Onyx going to play defense, and Buriram United Esports fill themselves into the bot side of the map, or Shifu going aggressive, but the answer back of Kane.
Yeah, and quite phenomenal execution as well from EVOS Onyx. Despite being pressured by BRU, they were able to reassess every single situation on how to counterattack right now. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. ALR actually a little bit worried here up against Zacian, but they're going to be trying to coordinate this fight once and for all. They actually want to take him down, but who's going to get taken down first? Yes, it's going to be the Zacian. Great coordination once again from EVOS Onyx. Despite losing in terms of the sustain, they were able to get back into their footing by doing a proper coordination to take it down.
Okay, now, or well, rather, the Reggie Ice is going into the bottom side of the map. BRU having the priority onto that, as EVOS Onyx is too far ahead, or too far behind to even contest Reggie Ice. And BRU is going to secure it uncontested.
Yeah, uncontested. Region of HP again, so there's not of an additional buff that they can actually get very reliable heading towards the Rayquaza fight, because it's gonna be gone, or actually it's not gonna be used quite enough into this fight. So it could have been better if it was a Registeel or a Regirock, but there's nothing that you could do about it. That's very random. So all they need to do right now is to maximize their kit of Unite moves. But right now, EVOS Onyx, this is actually very dangerous for them, knowing that they don't have the main front line.
Yeah, and now Rayquaza, you have Mufasa just sitting there, just on the edge of the Rayquaza pit, starting it up. This is really good. I think that's one of the mechanics of Rayquaza, right? If you hit it, sooner or later, he's gonna pour out those tornadoes up in the air for those people that are near him. So that's something of a mechanic that you can utilize, but we're at the esports, starting up those fights already. As Psyduck is down low.
Yeah, down low indeed, but we are just waiting for the setup. Oh, look at that. Urshifu trying to go inside the team fight. One hammer not going to be connecting, but the big water shuriken is going to be off. Full power Sai trying to dish out a lot of damage still, but the Dragon Claw not going to be connecting up against ALR. Phantom Force by the Psychic Solaire. It's going to be off, lifting a lot of members still. That is a beautiful counter strategy from both teams, but look at who's in a good position. That's going to be EVOS Onyx trying to take down the Rayquaza, but Pupasa is going to be the ones at the middle as well. They have to chase down Ayaka, who's sniping a lot of damage, but yet again, 3 members are still off from EVOS Onyx, and they're just waiting for the last hit, and BRU gets it.
Ayaka, what are those snipe shots? Buriram United Esports will win it through and through with another reverse sweep in today's games. And with 30 seconds remaining, with a 200-point lead, make it 500-point lead for Buriram United Esports, they will take it down and mark a win once again into the last day of the group stages.
Phenomenal execution for BRU. Pupasa doing everything else to zone out a lot of members from EVOS Onyx, and there was just not enough space for EVOS Onyx down Ayaka, who was doing the snipe shots all the way into the backline. That has been the main problem, despite those limit outreach and the Psychic Solaire connecting and the full power Sai. It's just up. The main damage dealer is still up, and that's gonna be Ayaka. They have to take him down immediately because it was actually the ones doing the unexpected for their team. And if you get hit by the snipe shots, definitely unfortunate coming in from your side.
Yeah, sure. So really good stuff coming from BRU. They might have lost game number 1, but they're able to turn back into a win. And actually just reverse sweep. It's our reverse sweep day today.
Oh my god, it truly is. What is happening, Infinity? So, with that conclusion in mind, BRU is going to be sitting on top of our leaderboards, and EVOS Onyx will be having 16 points. So they're going to be they're going to be uh, having a swap with Alter Ego. So EVOS Onyx is on the 5th spot, and Alter Ego's on the 6th one. So Alter Ego might go head to head up against Onyx Rise or Paper Rex. We cannot determine it yet. We have to wait for their games to finish. But all we can tell is that BRU is going to be the ones on top.